welcome to the show, Heather Paige Fairley from the Nepean Kanata Barracudas. Thank you for joining us.
Hello, glad to be here today.
And you're coming to us from Nepean, and I'm coming to you from Waddell Beach out in Northern California. How have you been coping during this time away from the pool, and what have your NKV swimmers been up to, being stationed at home?
Personally, I've been having a little bit of fun. I get to pull out the teacher in me with my daughter. I always said I would never, ever teach her. And then she's begged a couple times, asked if I would ever come into her classroom. And now I get to teach her all the time. So that's been really fun. She'll wake me up extra early and be like, hey, is it time for school yet? So I can't complain about that. But other than that, just kind of getting myself into a routine. Still doing a balance of personal stuff, professional stuff. Watching a lot of Harder Dixie, catching up on shows that I never had time for before. And attempting to garden. I've got some living things, some dead things. We're good. We'll get there. Got time to figure it out. The athletes hopefully are doing workouts. We've been sending workouts every day and then challenges every day. So the workouts are obviously physical. And so some of our coaches have done, Tori is amazing with a drone and done some video workouts for the kids to do. But we also have a big program with our seniors giving back that we've been trying to roll into this year. And so they've done some workouts. We have a senior athlete who's into yoga. So she put together a yoga video for the younger athletes to do. And we've created an online a Facebook group for them to network and keep communication with them. So it's fun. And then with the challenges, it's been any spectrum of things. So we do some mental challenges, some physical challenges. We've gone back to some things our kids have enjoyed during the year, like our senior swimmers, again, will put together a video of something they've done and share it with our younger kids. And then with some of the off-deck work, like the goal setting, planning, that kind of thing, we've started a lot of dialogues with the kids where, like we had some of them send in some of their race plans. We have a little monkey who's literally a monkey we're discovering from his videos that he sent in and sharing with us some of the stuff that he was thinking about.
We're born and raised in Ohio, right? And started your swimming career there and everything. So I wonder if you can tell us a little bit about your time there swimming and what the differences, biggest differences to you are between state swimming and Canadian swimming.
So swimming for me, I started swimming in Ohio, like you said. I fell in love with the sport because something actually that's very missing here, I've heard Montreal might have something that's a little bit like it, is we have a lot of summer leagues and neighborhood or local community races and leagues. So I just remember, like, my first swim team was every summer morning we'd go swim for an hour, and then every Tuesday and Thursday we had a meet. And if you always wanted your Thursday meets to be away because you always went out for ice cream with the team afterwards. And so you always had events like that. And it was a large network of local small communities that did it. And it's a great way for kids to fall in love with the sport. And it's actually a really big family event. I'm sure for some of the moms, it was a great socializing event as well. They were quite enjoying the sidelines. But from there, I did start club swimming when I was in grade 1. And then I think a big part of what shaped me growing up with swimming was my coach, Charlie, who I still keep in touch with now. He was a little bit of an anomaly in that he had a huge emphasis on the quality of our swimming and the quality of what we were doing. I was still on the tail end of the generation where garbage yardage was a thing, and he was different. He was an anomaly in that sense. And I think it definitely shaped, one, my love of the sport and wanting to stay. Like, the teenage years are never easy, but having that good coach, having that good relationship, having that sense of community around the team made the difference. But also, I think, making me into a good swimmer. And another piece I think that shaped me swimming wise that goes right back to Charlie is that he fully believed that you needed to be able to do everything. You didn't specialize, you didn't do anything like that. He made sure he trained you all around. And so I don't think I realized it at the time, but it definitely shaped me as an athlete, shapes me as a coach for sure. And the story I love telling about it is that in university, I went on to swim D1 at Boston College. And in university, my senior year, we had a hole in our distance program, and I'd always done the distance free and backstroke. We just had a gap. We lost a lot of points in that. So my coach said, "Hey, what do you think about trying to train distance? Go after the races, the 5 and the 1,000, comparable to our 4 and 8. It was yards, those silly Americans." And I said, sure. Didn't really think I had a choice, but it was really kind of fun to have like PBs of over a minute when you're 17 years into your career. So, but I know I was 4 years removed from working with Charlie on a daily basis, but the fact that he would spend all that time and that emphasis in the core of his programming of you need to be an all-around athlete, you need to be able to do all these pieces and not specializing made that possible. Then you said biggest differences. One is that community network. I really wish that was here because it's like, especially for the early years of swimming and falling in love in the sport, but also high school swimming. I don't know what it's like in other cities, but in Ottawa, there's a big distinction between high school swimming and club swimming. Like high school swimming isn't a thing here. And so we had all these rules around like switching between club swimming and high school swimming. And pretty much my entire high school team was part of my club team. And but we would stop club swimming in order to do high school swimming. And it was a full regimen, full set of meets. And it was kind of cool because you had that whole mindset of, like you see it in the movies and like you see like Friday Night Lights and how the whole school rally around a sport. Well, that really does happen. I still have memories of like when we had sports rallies and the whole swim team was pulled down on the gymnasium floor, and that whole sense of community and going off to state and the banners and the signs and neighborhood yards and things like that. So having that culture and that excitement around it and having that community pride again, we would head off to dual meets against local high schools and it'd be on the evening news or whatever the case would mean. And so it wasn't just you showed up, you went, your friends asked you, oh, did you win your competition? No, they knew what something was. They knew what a meet was. And it was part of it. It was a fun, energetic atmosphere. Whereas here, I think you have 1 or 2 meets. A lot of club swimmers don't do it. And there's not a lot of depth in the competition too. And there's not a whole environment around it until you get into the university level.
Talking about coaching itself, so in a few short words, can you describe your approach to coaching and what are some of your tactics that you can help build relationships and stuff with swimmers?
So it goes back to what I was saying before. As far as in the pool, it's quality first, making sure they're learning the skills, learning the foundational pieces, and building progressions up from there. But for any of that to happen, the kids have to love the sport first. And at the heart of anything is that the kids will always swim faster when they're having fun. They'll also be more engaged in the sport or engaged in a set or engaged in anything related to swimming if they're having fun. So making sure that it's a social process, it's a fun process where they're learning and remembering that they're a person first and then an athlete, and building those relationships, getting to know them. You say talking about what are some of the tactics with that. A big piece at NKD and for me personally is that we have our swim families, what we keep saying. And it's the idea that, with the kids, you learn some of their personal interests, you learn some of their outside things, and you bring them to the pool. And you find some of the hooks and the games and the activities that they like, and you build that into what you're trying to accomplish in the pool as well. And build forward from that. So, and it's nice because I work with our pre-comp program. I'm our program coordinator for junior Barracudas. So a lot of these kids, I meet them when they're 5, 6, 7 years old, and then I get to know their families over the years. And then when I'm working directly with them and as an athlete, they're 11, 12, 13 years old. And by that point, I've, been through the birth of their younger siblings or, when they've gotten their pets and things like that. And so you get to know them, you get to know their families, and you bring that personal touch to everything you do. So I think about I'm trying to think of some examples. Like I have my fly boys the past couple of years, where you learn their personalities and how you get them to dig into sets and they work off of each other. And then we have games and we do things like fin relays, where there's this whole bracket system like March Madness, and we always do it. We're ending up in March along those lines. But they're working on sets and skills like the underwaters and things like that. And they don't realize it as they're building on to that. And then you give opportunities through those games to incorporate like leadership roles. And there are kids who are more tailored to that. So I kind of push them into that position in the set, and it gives them the idea to capitalize, but then they also pull people along. But a lot of that is only possible because I've gotten to know them first, or gotten to know their interests first, and been able to build those aspects of their personality alongside what I want them to accomplish in the water.
Well, I think this next question really goes, can be tied into exactly what you just talked about. So maybe we'll focus on the performance side. But for years, NKB's had consistent age group swimmers at the highest levels, and ranked high amongst Canada's best. What is the team's philosophy towards creating a balance between that fun, exciting atmosphere that you were talking about and that hard work, high performance? So maybe that environment that you guys create there, yes, is fun, but it's so competitive. So maybe you can kind of touch more on that side of things, like how you guys just make sure that you get the best of the athletes.
Or they're having fun. And when they're having fun, we are able to get them to work harder. We're able to get them to dig into sets. We're able to get them to push past their comfort zone. So it really is, one leads to the other. They happen together. So like, instead of just saying, okay, we're going to do 8:25 sprint on a, whatever the rest ratio is or something like that, I'll play a game like swim tac-toe, where they have to sprint across the pool, hop out and place a piece on a tic-tac-toe board, and then they have to sprint back. So you're working on the performance inside of something that's fun and it's engaging. And then of course there's always that balance of like, you've just got to do sets. You've just got to do some hard work, particularly as they get a little bit older. And so a big piece there to keep that team environment there, and that mentality of you're working together, is that you either issue the challenge as a group, and you look at the levels and the stepping stones for each individual and the whole group, and you celebrate all those interim pieces. And find ways to say, okay, so we're going to do, I had this set of 15 100 or 10 100s that progresses to 15 100s. And so it's, not just can you make them, can you not on the send off. It's like, okay, so here's step one, here's step two. When you've accomplished this, you can get to there. And again, it's celebrating all those pieces, not saying, oh, I can't do it. And the kid constantly feeling like they failed the set or failed to send off. It's, nope, you've accomplished this. Awesome. Here's the next step. You've accomplished this. And they're all doing it side by side in the pool, tailored to what they need to do. And regardless of what they're doing, it comes back to, we want to make sure that they're pushing forward, they're feeling challenged, and they've got the confidence as they do it. So when they hit those setbacks or get stuck in a loop and ready to move forward, we've built that love of the sport. We've built that self-confidence and self-awareness that, okay, I can persevere and I can keep moving, and I'll eventually get to whatever my next step or my next goal is. Whether it's a standard or not, that's really not part of our conversations, because what becomes between here and there is always what's mattering.
Well, last question for you. So once we get that opportunity to get back in the pool, are there any things that you're going to do to re-engage the athletes in some new manner of some kind? And, between that time and now, what can you recommend for all swimmers who are waiting eagerly to get back in the pool?
Personally, I'd say the biggest things I'm doing, if Swim Canada's listening, I'm working on my next NCCP level, but on a more valuable level to me is finding ways to kind of freshen up the fun, freshen up what I was working on with the kids. I never want it to go stale. So I've had some time to research. I never seem to have enough time during when we're in the water and practices and meets and all that, just to find ways to freshen up the fun, new ways to interject energy into practices. There's a lot of resources. They seem to be multiplying exponentially daily who's out there putting resources. So just trying to stay on that and be ready to take that back to the pool and keep the excitement high. And then also this year, there was a lot of different things that I was trying. I was seeing a lot of positive results, like new things in our training regimens, and kids were hitting benchmarks and stepping stones earlier in the season. Not necessarily performance, but more training benchmarks and step stones. And they were willing to dig in a little deeper. So I'm really excited to get back to the pool and try to continue those. I don't think I'll necessarily be able to continue from where we were, but to put them in place with the start of the next round of training in the next season, unfortunately. I hope it's not next season before we get in, but it'll probably be that. But the biggest thing I'd say until we get there is the idea of finding the positive and enjoying the family time. I think one of our families, the LaBelle family, said it best, where the son is on the team and the dad is now working from home. And so they decided at the onset of this that they're going to do their workouts every morning together. They get up, they do it. We have our network on Facebook and stuff, and they're usually the first ones to post every morning. And the dad said it best when he said, like, I never, ever would have been able to do this with him in any other circumstances. And it's so buried, but this is a positive thing that's coming out of this, that I get to do this with my son. I get to do this with my family every day, get up, start my day. And it's been kind of cool because as we're 5 weeks in now, and as they're doing their posts and they're making their comments about it, you can see other families and other athletes are like, oh, that's awesome. You know what? Like, we're going to try doing it. Oh, it's made a difference for our family. One mom has a kid who is just full of beans, and she's like, actually, if we work out first thing in the morning, it makes the rest of the day easier. So it's been great to see that contagiousness of finding the positive inside of a pretty crummy situation at times. So continuing to find that positive is what I would recommend.
So thank you, and stay safe and be good. And I'm looking forward to seeing you back out on deck soon enough.
Agreed. It will be great to see all the kids and the coaches back on deck.
Okay. Thanks, Heather. Take care.
Bye.